So right now, whatever, for example, if I will go to the GL document, suppose the transactions, whatever we have posted, see, what is the company code? W10. So we have posted certain transactions, and if I will add here the ledger, so we have something zero error is there, or well is there. So what is this? Earlier we used to work on accounting principle, then in ECC SAP introduced the new GL. For example, we have different books of accounts we need to maintain, okay, parallelly. Like we have, let's say, our IFRS requirement is there, or we have a local gap, US gap, its requirement is there. So in old days, like same accounting, like same configuration and all, we have to do multiple times, or some reportings will be there, or some reportings we have to do of like offline we have to do. It is not going to update in any ledger. There will be only one ledger will be there, or one update will be there whenever we are going to post the transaction. Then SAP introduced the concept of parallel accounting, or the leading and non-leading ledger. So what are the things we are going to see here in this new GL? We will see parallel accounting via the ledgers. We will see the what are the field settings, table point of view changes are there. Then we will see document splitting, not now. Then we will see FICO integration, that is also not now. Right now we can see by what is the concept of leading and non-leading ledger, and how we are going to apply the different accounting principles to different ledgers, and how we can maintain the two books of accounts by using the ledger. So before this, we should know what is the leading ledger. So in each client, first of all, the client what we are using, it is already activated as NewGL client. Whether you are working or not, that is different thing, but it's already activated as NewGL client. So if you want to see whether it is activated or not, it's activated. So that's why we have two options are there: financial accounting and financial accounting new. So if you see here, it's activated, right? So that means in this particular client, one leading ledger is there. So in each, that's why I'm telling, in each client, okay, in each new GL client, rather in client it is new GL client. So in each new GL client, there will be one leading ledger for each client, and that ledger or that leading ledger is valid for all company code. So if we are having 5 company code, for all 5 company code, one leading ledger will be there. And what will be the leading ledger, that we need to define, and we have to decide which accounting standard or which accounting principle we will use for the leading ledger. Okay, so that means this is our client. Let's say 3 company codes are there. So all these 3 company code, your leading ledger will be same. And with one accounting principle, international accounting standard, let's say, or IFRS, whatever. So this will be assigned to all the company code. That means if we are going to use the leading ledger as 0L, which is there in our company code, so for all company codes, this will be the leading ledger. So leading ledger, we can say, normally following the same accounting standard used for consolidated financial statements. And this leading ledger also integrated with all subsidiary ledgers. What does it mean? All subsidiary ledger means This is your ledger, leading ledger, 0L, and IFRS or okay, we have taken IS, accounting standard. And what are the subsidiary ledgers you have? Subsidiary ledgers means maybe it is bank ledger from FSCM, maybe it is asset accounting from FI, or accounts payable linked with your MM, accounts receivable ST. So all will be linked with the same leading ledger. So that's why the leading ledger is integrated with other subsidiary ledgers. And when we are going to define the currency, right now we have not defined any currency settings. Right now you have only one currency setting, that is USD, or that is we are saying that it is company code currency. So when we are going to define the currency settings, right now in ECC you can define three additional local currencies. Leading ledger, which is your 0L, then one company code, one is your company code currency or local currency. In our case it is, this is known as your company code currency, USD. One will be your group currency, which is euro. This group currency is client level settings. When we are going to define, or basis will define the client, that time you need to specify what will be your group currency. So group currency will be there for group reporting. And another one is your hard currency. This is NetWeaver level settings. That means if some countries inflation rates are too high, then in that case you can maintain hard currency, or also it is known as index currency, where we will define the company code currency at the time of company code configuration, or this is known as your first local currency. Then group currency, where we are going to define, we are going to define this one when in client level here. So for this 800 client, what is the group currency? Euro. That means if we are having 5 company code, maybe one company code currency INR, one company code USD, one currency is JPY. But for all company codes, the group currency is Euro. And hard currency we are going to define in NetWeaver.
We cannot change at client level.
No.
But if we choose euro, we can.
No.
Okay.
Okay, let's say, so this is one country, and for this country, your local currency is JPY, but hard currency, we have the option. We can take something here else. So hard currency, whatever you want to, you can take the USD. So when inflation rate is too high, we can use this option. Otherwise, local currency is mandatory. Group currency, if you need, for group reporting purpose. Now, what is the non-leading ledger? So non-leading ledgers are used parallelly with leading ledger. So like for example, let's say we have some requirement which parallel ledger is not enough to handle this. So like for example, let's say we are doing the tax postings or some asset valuations. In asset valuation, we have multiple options there. We need to evaluate the asset, or we have to maintain our books of accounts, or we need to calculate the depreciation as per the IFRS. Then also we have requirement the local cap or local accounting standard. So in that case, one we will take multiple depreciation area in asset we will see, and also we are going to assign the leading ledger. So leading ledger we will assign for, let's say, our IFRS, and for local gap, for that country specific settings, we can go for the non-leading ledger. So as much as you want, you can create non-leading ledgers. And in S4HANA, along with this leading, non-leading, and one more ledger is added, that is your extension ledger. So the non-leading ledger must be activated for each, that means for individual company code. That means if you are having three company codes, for three different company codes, if requirement is there, then you can activate multiple non-leading ledger, right? So there is no restriction how many non-leading ledgers you are going to, but there are some uh, prerequisites are there. That means the first currency of your leading ledger always will be the first currency of non-leading ledger. So that means this is your, for any company code, this is your leading ledger 0L. And here our accounting sorry, this fiscal year variant is we are using, let's say, Jan to December. And here we are using our first local currency, USD. And let's say we have some operation in India, and here also we are going to, for this requirement, we are going to add one non-leading ledger, let's say W5. So for this W5, what will be your reporting period? So this will be April to March. Let's say this one is assigned with IFRS, accounting principle. This one is your accounting standard or local gap. Currency will be, there are different currencies. I told you there are three currencies are there: company code currency, local currency, or other local currency, group currency, hard currency. So what is the first currency of this company code, the leading company code? I mean, for the leading ledger, this is USD. So definitely the first local currency, or the first currency, not local currency, the first currency of non-leading ledger should be USD only. First currency will be the USD. It's because USD is the first company code currency. Second currency, you can take the group currency. Third currency, you can take different currency. But currency of leading ledger, always the first currency of non-leading ledger. Second, third currency of non-leading ledger, it's up to you. So whatever you can take it. And here, fiscal year variant may be same or may be different. So there is no restriction. What will be the fiscal variant you will take here? If it is the coming under the same criteria, for example, let's say two different countries we have operation and both are reporting in January to December. So same fiscal year variant and posting period is enough. If difference is there, then we need to add the different fiscal year variant and different posting period variant. That means for non-leading ledger, we are going to specify a different fiscal year variant and different posting period variant. And when we are going to post the transaction, so we know yesterday we have seen your header data will be there in the BKPF, line item will be there in BSEC. But when we will post the transaction exclusively only for non-leading ledger transaction, it will update somewhere else. It will not update in the BSEC. And the general thumb rule is whenever you are posting a transaction without specifying the ledger, that means generally I'm going to post a transaction, it will update your leading ledger and all non-leading ledgers. So it will not specify the ledger group. If you will specify the ledger group, it is only going to update in the respective ledger. That means it may, for example, only for your non-leading ledger we want the transaction to be posted. So in that case, it is only going to update here. If you'll generally, if you'll post the transaction, you will find one entry here and one entry here also. Okay, then what about the table changes? Earlier we have the tables like the old, that means in classic GL. In classic GL we have table is GL T0. Okay, let me check whether I can access it here. So the old old concept is That means first we have the GLT0, and in GLT0 we have only the reporting options or updates are in GLT0 or classic. You can only run company code. That means view KRS. Then we need the fiscal year also. Account label you can run the report. RACCT. Then business area RBUSA. This is your classic GL or GLT0. Then SAP introduced one more ledger, that is your Fagelflext. In new GL client, it is FAGLFLEXT. Fagelflext. So what is Fagelflext? Financial accounting. Then that is what else? General ledger, flexible table. Okay, financial accounting, general ledger, flexible table, or also it is known as total table. That means in GLT0, okay, so in GLT0, only the classic records will be there, and you can have the reports, view KRS, biz career, all these things. And in Fagelflext, along with your GLT0, okay, and we can add the new GL tables or new GL info. So what are the additional things will be there? Additional things will be like here, if you're going for new GL, then all the old fields are there. Along with this, we have some additional fields are there, like cost element. Right now you don't know the concept of cost element. In future we will see. So that means one more in all total, all these fields are there. Along with this, you can get here cost element. Then we have the profit center, PR, CTR. Then we have cost center, profit center. Then we have the cost center, RCNTR. These are the different fields. Then we have segment. So here we have the more options to record the transaction and to report the transaction. Let me try with GLT0 whether we can access it or not. GLT0 table. GLT0. Yeah, it's there. We can run it. Okay, so this is the old table. But right now we are not using this one. We upgraded this client to new GL client. So check the file text. In Fagelflex, I told what are the additional things are there. We have the option we can run the cost element report. It's there, cost element. Then we can run the report profit center. Account, oh, that means if you're working on classic GL, then only you can run the report at this level. But here, along with the account, we can have the cost element. Then we have the cost center, profit center. Okay, then segment. So we can say here we have the more flexibility for reporting purpose, and we have more like more fields are there. Okay, so these things we can have if the non-reading ledger is activated. Okay, let's do the configuration. So its thumb rule is whenever you need some additional requirements along with your classic GL, that means your leading ledger, so we can add some more number of ledgers with different accounting principles and different other settings. And if new GL is activated, then you will find financial accounting and financial accounting new. Financial accounting global setting. ledger, ledger. So here if you'll see here, directly in global setting, we started with the general configuration like fiscal year variant, posting period, all these things. But here it is categorized. Okay, with introduction of ledger concept. So define ledgers for general ledger accounting. Leading ledger is the default ledger. Why? Because we have defined this one. So that's why when we started our configuration, nowhere we have selected any ledger, but all the transactions are posted with the leading ledger. It's not only the document. You check any report. You check any report. You will find all your transactions are updated in the leading ledger. For example, let's say account balance. Ledger 0L. So that's why that is the default one. And whatever the settings we did so far, all these are the standard settings or default settings, which is for leading ledger. Now additionally, if you need that non-leading ledger, then you need to add the non-leading ledger. So already different users, they have created non-leading ledgers. Okay, so we can add one non-leading ledger. Let me check W5. W5 no one created, so I can create that also. New entry W5, ledger name local reporting, table, total table, Faggle flexed. This table in S4HANA completely removed. In classic GLT0, in new GL, Faggle flexed, in S4HANA, acid OK. And whether it is leading or non-leading, it's non-leading. No need to activate. Define the currency's leading ledger. For one company code, we are going to define the currency because right now the currency settings at company code level, whereas in S4HANA it is changed to leading, ledger level. New entry, add your company code currency, click enter. So first currency is your USD. Why? Because when we define the currency as USD. So all this information are default one. But second currency, you need to define what you want to take here. You can take group currency or you can take the index currency. So I will take group currency.
Can you pick anything other than the group currency here? Or does it always?
Other than means we can define here hard currency. Hard currency you can take as the second currency.
Okay.
So
so I mean, obviously in this case you have three currencies that you're defining. Does it always have to be
three?
I mean, yeah, but does it always have to be the group and the hard currency that's set in here, or can you pick the other options there?
No, currency means what you define. Posting the transaction, that is any currency you can. While posting the transaction, you can take any currency. I'm saying reporting point of view. Reporting point of view, three currency options are there.
No, right. I understand. What I'm trying to understand is, so you have three local currencies, right? Now you have, I mean, in this case, for this particular ledger, you have one company, one local currency, which is your main currency of transaction.
Yes.
Then you have your group currency, and then you have your hard currency.
Right.
Now, when you say group currency, currency, it's basically defined at that company level, which could be euros, client level. Right. And then the hard currency, which could be
country level.
Country level.
Yes.
So in that scenario, now the hard currency would keep changing, because depending on what localization you might be activating, right? So for India would be INR, but for another country. But in case of group currency, could it be different?
Hard currency we are going to define at country level. For example, first of all, in hard currency is not applicable for all countries. I told you, if for example African countries, all this, in that case it is applicable. And you are when inflation is too high, you are going to activate that one. And with which currency you are going to do the when you will go for the inflation calculation, with which currency. So if you are going to do the inflation calculation with relation or with comparison with your USD, so in that case that will be the hard currency. It's not like for example India, we are going to do the use the hard currency. It's not INR. INR is my company code currency. It is not no need to add their INR. Hard currency will be, let's say we are going to compare with USD. So USD will be hard currency.
All right, understand.
Okay, so that is hard currency concept.
So basically, two currencies are always required, which is your company code
currency and group currency. If required, then hard currency we can add.
Okay.
If we need more, right now we are restricted only maximum 3 currencies, whereas in S4HANA you have option 10 currencies.
Oh, okay.
In fact, 13 currencies. Along with these 3 additional 10 currencies you can add. Okay, so I will take the group currency. Then valuation. Two type of valuations are there. It is related to material ledger accounting. One is your legal valuation, which is your default. So whatever the stock valuations or anything, stock valuation or this group valuation we are going to do. So it is legal valuation. So which is a default one. It's there. If we are going to activate material ledger accounting, in that case you need the group valuation or profit center valuation. So additional configuration settings are there. So we are not going to do this material ledger. So if I will, for example, okay, so material ledger completely separate things. So if I will add here, let's say group valuation, so then I will get the error. Exchange rate type, that also you don't know. On continuation this topic we will see this one. So for the timing you accept it M. Then so how you want to post the transaction? You want to take the first currency as basis for the conversion purpose, or you want to take the transaction currency. So I will take the document currency or the transaction currency or first currency, whatever you want. So let's take this one. Then on which data you are going to consider, whether it is document date or posting date or translation date. So I will take the translation date. Now if I will continue here, I will get the error. Like for company code WM10, valuation type 1 is not allowed because configuration is not there. Let me change here. Let's say profit center valuation. Still we will get the error. It's not there. What part is missing here? It is additional configurations are required here. Actual costing, material ledger. Here you have the option valuation areas for material ledger. Okay, we are going to define the valuation areas, and also we are going to define the different valuations. So these valuations will come here. Multiple valuation approaches. Okay, maintain currency and valuation profile. So right now it's not there. For example, we did the valuation for these two companies. So if it is applicable, then we can do the configuration. Okay, that's why we are getting the error. So how to continue then? I will take this as blank.
At what point would we be doing the valuation at some point later on?
Additional concept. No, this material ledger is not part of your syllabus. It is the
Okay.
like if you're going to configure material ledger accounting, then this group valuation or profit center will be there. So basically it is the stock valuation. That means if you have, let's say, two company codes are there somewhere, we are, that means intercompany transactions, company code transactions are there. So in that case, we maybe activate the materializer, and we will see what is the stock price or the cost price at one legal valuation point of view, at one company code point of view, and group when we will do the valuation. So that time maybe we will add the group valuation. Similarly, for we have to add the multiple versions and all. Right now it is not the right point to discuss. You will not get the complete because you don't know the version, you don't know the stock valuation, all these things. While controlling, I will explain, I will give you the idea, then after that you will decide whether you need the material ledger or not. Okay, maybe you will
Okay.
not get the complete concept of material ledger, why it is required. So
All
basically it
right.
is required for stock valuation purpose, not only stock valuation purpose, when we are going to have the product cost planning and actual costing, and what will be the difference, whatever the difference, where you are going to settle that difference. But again, all these things right now you will not get the concept. Okay, so why we are discussing then, because if you'll ignore this point, maybe you will think like why we are getting this error. So that's I've just given the idea, its valuation is missing. Save it. So two currencies added. Then define active non-reading ledger. Company code WM10. So our fiscal year variant is W5 and our posting period variant is W10, which is we are following the calendar year. Here we are going to add one more fiscal year variant and one more posting period because I want to show you a different reporting, different this one, okay, accounting principle. So add it. Define an active non-reading ledger. New entry. Company code. First currency. Currency one means first currency. Automatically it will pick from the, that means it will be the first currency. You just click enter, automatically it will be there. So you just click here no. No means, that means in our company code already we posted some transactions, so it's a production system. Okay, so if you're going to change later, then you need to contact SAP through OSS notes only we can do this. So we are not, it's not possible, we are going to contact SAP, click on no and continue. That means now onwards, whatever the transaction we will post, this new GL concept is applicable. Whatever the old transactions are there, if that you want to change, do the changes, then you need to contact SAP. So what is the second currency? Second currency is your group currency. FV, fiscal year variant. So what we will take here, so we will take something different one. Okay. So W5 is calendar. I'm going to take here V3 standard I'm taking, or you can create a non-calendar, or we configured something, right? W6 or something we configured that time. Yeah, this one, W6. W5 for the reading that we have assigned to the company code, W6 for non-reading. This is non-calendar, I think. And also posting period variant. This one also we have configured. W10 already assigned to the company code, W20. If you don't have the configuration, take the standard, it will work. Next, assign scenarios and custom ledger. So what is scenario? Once you'll activate the new GL, okay, so that means when we will post the transaction, scenario defines which fields are updated in the ledger. We have two views are there, entry view and GL view. So when you are going to post the transaction, when it will update in the GL view during the posting, that will be we are going to define in scenario label. So for leading ledger, we have not defined any scenario. Then why we need to activate for the non-leading ledger? In leading ledger, automatically system gave the scenarios. If you'll see here, assign scenario and custom fields to ledger. For leading ledger, standard settings are already there. These are the different settings. That means we can activate one or multiple scenarios. But as this is a new creation non-leading ledger, then you need to select, double click on scenarios, new entry. So where the non-leading ledger is applicable, activate those scenario. In asset it is applicable. Then cost center it is applicable. Business area and profit center. But right now, if I will include profit center, I will get the error because configuration is missing. In future, we will add it. Here one option is there, customer fields. Suppose you want to, that means default fields in scenario whatever is there we can. If you want to add some new fields, right now there is no field is there, so it's not possible. First in total table, in FagelFlex table, we need to add the fields. Okay, so we don't have the authorization. Let me show you how we can add the fields. Go to fields, standard fields already there, customer fields. Include fields in total table, FagelFlex. Add the field name, customer fields. Suppose I want to add the business partner, which is not there in the standard scenario. So add it, save. Now it is asking the access key. So we don't have the authorization.
So adding the table to the field,
But
what exactly is it doing? What is the end result of this?
some like in FagelFlex, let's say 50 fields are there, and we need some additional fields which is not there in the FagelFlex. Then we can add those fields if you have the
So it's
authorization.
like a user defined field that you would need
User
for some
defined.
kind of
Yes, user defined fields.
okay.
Okay, this one already we configured. Leave it. Then come to documents. So two views are there, entry view and GL view. So what is this GL view? That means this one is nothing but document type OB-A7, whatever the standard document types that is applicable on your leading ledger. So we started using these document types. No need to do anything. For each document type, we created the number range. But if you're going to add the non-leading ledger, so you need to specify what are the document types we are going to use for the non-leading ledger, that to entry view and GL view. What is this entry view and GL view? Let's say we have two profit centers are there. Product 1 and product 2 is my profit centers. These two are my profit centers. User will post the transaction like this. Customer debit 50,000. One, then revenue. Sales will be credit. Sales one ledger number 2000. Credit entry 30,000. And this is product 1 or profit center 1. Sales 2001. Credit 20,000. Product 2. Tax is there. Output tax. Some ledger. This is also credit. Let's say 10%. So 55,000. Now, which profit center? 55. Which profit center? This is known as your entry view. So earlier, that means in classic GL, when user will post a transaction, that time in fact we don't have the profit center concept. So right now, if you prepare the balance sheet, it is not for profit center wise. If you're going to prepare the balance sheet, it is not going to match or it is not going to balance. Why? Because for profit center 1, credit is there. For profit center 2, credit is there, but debits are missing. So somewhere maybe you will find profit center debits will be there, credits are missing, or cost center will be is not balanced. So in that case, we can prepare a internal financial statements or profit center wise, or for example, let's say business area, you can do that. Profit center wise, we can prepare the financial statements. Why? Because it will not balanced. This is known as entry view. So user will post the document as it is in entry view in this way. Automatic system is going to split the line items in GL view. Whenever we are going to post now onwards the document, we will post two views will be there, entry view and GL view. So in GL view, your transaction or the document will be like this. Automatically after the configuration, it will be these two entries, no changes because it is your input value. So here it is no changes. That means this line item split it. But when you will go for GL view, it will not customer, it will be the reconciliation account, which is your accounts receivable. Okay, instead of customer, it will be accounts receivable. And this also it is going to split 3000. Product 1. Yeah, give me 1 second. Okay, this is product 1 and this is product 2. Now check. What is the total of product 1 debit? 33. What is the total credit of product 1? That means profit center 1? 33. So it is balanced. Same for product 2. So right now onwards, whatever the transaction we will post, if required, document splitting we can't see because that configuration is not possible unless we have the profit center, but we can at least generate two views, entry view and GL view. So for entry view of leading ledger, already configuration done. All the standard document types, whatever the document types are available here in OB-A7, these standard document types are applicable. But this step, define document type for entry view in ledger. Ledger means non-reading ledger. So if you are going to use the non-reading ledger, then you need to activate document types. What the document types we are going to use here, the non-reading ledger. As we don't know which document it is applicable, the non-reading ledger transactions. So better we have to add all the document types for non-reading ledger purpose. So right now you don't know all the document types. Just let me take a list here. So W5 is your non-reading ledger entry view. So we are going to post GL transaction. For GL transaction, we have the applicable document type SA and AB, and we need to create a number range. I have taken one number range 81. Why it is 81? Just like something like I have to take, I have taken this 81. Whatever you want, you can take here. Now it's up to you. You can create one number range for all the document types, or you can take individual number range for different document type, like we did in case of our leading ledger configuration. In real case, it should be a different number ranges for different type of document type. Here, to save the time, I'm going to create one number range for all the document types of non-leading ledger. Then we have customer invoice integration with ST. What is the document type? RV. Customer invoice FI DR. That means directly if you are going to post the customer invoice from FI, then it is DR. Customer invoice from integrated with ST, then it is RV. Customer collection. It's DZ. Customer credit memo. All these document types are there in the list. It is there. I'm just going to add these document types for our non-reading ledger. Credit memo, then settlement document, customer advance document, DA. Now coming to vendor. Vendor invoice from RE. Vendor invoice FI KR. D for account type customer, K for vendor. Then what else? Payment. Vendor payment. KR, KZK. Then what else? Manual payment and automatic payment. If it is manual payment, then it is KZ. If it is automatic payment, then GP and GV. Asset posting. Depreciation F. Some more document types we will add while doing the integration. This is for W5 entry view. Same will be W5 GL view also. Okay, you need to create one more number range. Let's say this is 82. Got it? So this document type, it is not nothing new. This it is available in the material, and also you will find the list of document types here. I'm just extracted some document types what we are going to use for non-reading ledger. For example, it is customer invoice, DR. If it is, let's say, payment, vendor payment. Okay, so all these document types, standard document types, I'm going to use for non-reading ledger. Define document type for entry view in ledger. Add your ledger, W5, new entry, add the
Is there a
document.
way
Sorry?
of copying? I mean, is there a standard list of documents that is available anywhere to look at when you're creating these, or?
These are the standard document types only.
Okay.
These are standard document types. All these document types you will find in OPA 7.
Okay.
'81. So this 81 number is nothing but when we created the number range. Okay, 0, 1, 18, all this. So for this non-reading, I created one, or I have to create one number range with 81 series. So here I just have taken one number range for multiple document types. It's up to you. When you will practice, you can create different document number range, or you can take one number range. So that means one series we will create and we will assign with all the document types. Okay, SA, AB, then DR, RV, vendor invoice, RE, KR. If some document type is not there in this list, then while we'll post the transaction after new GL or non-leading, we will get the error. That's why it's required. You need to add all the document types, because we don't know whether for vendor document we need a non-leading transaction or not. ZP and GP. Asset. Okay. Document type for GL view. Just repeat the same step. Let's say 82 number range, AB, then DR, RV, if something will be not there, then in future we will see. DR, RV, DZ, DZ, KR, RE, KZ, KZP.
How you remember all this actually?
These are the few document types. In future we will add some more also. There is no process to remember, only by practice. Because these are the document types frequently we are using.
Okay. It seems like a big list actually.
Okay. Next, number range. That means this step already we completed while our leading ledger configuration. Similarly, number range configuration is also done for the leading ledger. Now we need to create the number range for non-leading ledger. Go to the same transaction code FBN1. Number range for entry view, company code. So already these number ranges are applicable for leading ledger. We need to add a number range for 81 series. Insert line 2018. For example, right now in both format we are in 2018, but let's say we are in the month of January and we are doing this configuration. Then this will be okay. This will be 2017. Why? Because as per India requirement, your financial year will be closed in 2017. Sorry, 2018 March. Okay, for example, next coming January. In coming January, maybe your leading ledger will be completed 2018. Maybe we will activate 2019, but non-leading ledger still it will continue with 2018 only in January, February, March. So that time when you will practice or when you are doing the configuration, you need to add like you need to take this point. Because your non-leading ledger transactions will from April to March, leading ledger transactions January to December. So 81 added. Documents for GL view. '82. That means when we will post the non-leading document type for GL view, we will get this view. Entry view, leading and non-leading. GL view, this is the range. So these are the additional settings. Further settings are applicable. We will from the organization point of from the global setting point of view, we add it. Then so tomorrow we will post the transaction and we will add the okay, one point I need to explain here. Accounting principle. For leading ledger, definitely we should have some accounting principle. That's why we are able to post the transaction. Go to parallel accounting. Accounting principle. So already SAP provided accounting principles are there. For example, GAAP or where is IFRS 60, IFRS, all these things. If you want to configure your own accounting principle, we can add. In foreign currency valuation, we will do that. Maybe tomorrow we will do that. So let's say your leading ledger 60. So assign accounting principle to ledger group. Now we added one non-leading ledger W5 and that should be assigned to a accounting principle. So for example, let's say here some local gap is there, WIGP, let's say this one. So this one we can assign to our non-leading ledger. Leading ledger is already there. Okay, any accounting principle, let's say 60. So it is already assigned with the leading ledger. If you want to assign your any accounting principle WIP, let's say to ledger group WIP, it will throw the error because it's already assigned. So you can add. So we can create a new accounting principle and we can assign with the leading or non-leading, whatever you want. So right now if you're able to add something, then parallelly we have two accounting principles are there. If you're going to post the transaction for leading ledger, one accounting principle is applicable. If you're going to post the transaction for non-leading ledger, a different accounting principle and different ledger is there. Okay, so tomorrow we will post the transaction, general transaction, non-leading transaction, and so far we have not seen any foreign currency transaction that we will post tomorrow. But this new GL is not, it will not complete tomorrow. It will be all like multiple times it will come. While in asset accounting, it will come. While doing FICO integration, it will come. Profit center, it will come. So multiple times we are going to touch this area.